What's up guys, Jorge Contreras here, and in this video I am going to talk about the 2020 recession and mortgage crisis. We are going to talk about the unemployment, what's going on right now, and why we are very likely at the front end of a new recession right now. By sticking around till the end of this video, you will walk away with some practical things that you can do to prepare yourself as much as possible. So with that being said, let's jump right in. According to Wikipedia, a recession is when there is a significant decline, economic activity spread across the market, and lasting more than a few months. The US now has more than 22 million in unemployment, wiping out over a decade of job growth. It pretty much guarantees that we are in the front end of an economic recession. Just in the last week, 5.2 million have filed for unemployment. Now let's talk about the mortgage crisis. Exclusive JP Morgan Chase Bank to raise mortgage borrowing standards as the economic outlook darkens. As of April 11th at 6:11 p.m. It's funny they have an exact time. As of 6:11 p.m. So Chase customers are now going to have 3 requirements to be able to acquire a new property. And number 1, they're going to be required to have a 700 credit score and above. And number 2, they will be required to put a down payment equal to 20%. And 3, they will be required to smash the like button on this video so it could help the YouTube algorithm. Did I get you? Did I get you? But really, by smashing the like button, it actually helps the YouTube algorithm so that we can get this video in front of more people and we can help more people improve their financial situation during this epidemic. So that means that if you are buying a property for $200,000, you are going to need, just for the down payment, $40,000. That is not even including the closing costs. And if you are buying in California or New York or the Bay Area or in Seattle, one of these expensive markets, and say you're buying a property for as low as $500,000 in these areas, you are going to need at least $100,000 for just the down payment. Again, not even including closing costs. And this is crazy because according to GoBankingRates.com, nearly 70% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings. Now just imagine, that was as of the end of 2019, which means right now during the current epidemic, that $1,000 is probably a few $100s if they're lucky. Now it is very likely, I believe, that other banks will follow in Chase Bank's footsteps and they will become tighter with their guidelines for borrowers. So even if interest rates continue to drop and prices in the real estate market start to decline, it is still going to be very difficult for people to start buying properties when, again, the majority of Americans are struggling financially right now. So what does that mean? It means that if you are somebody who's been holding on to some cash, it is going to be a very good time to buy real estate in the next 12 to 18 months. And the good thing is that if that is you and you're holding on to some cash, I truly believe it is going to turn into a buyer's market. So let's use the example of 2008. Even though the market crashed in 2008, real estate prices do not drop like the stock market. It is not as volatile. The real estate market takes its time. So it took about 18 to 24 months in 2008 for the real estate prices to bottom. So again, if you're that person holding on to some capital, just wait a few more months, as I believe it is going to be a great buying opportunity. Now here are some current things that you can do to prepare yourself as much as possible for this current recession. Now some of these things are very logical, but I want to put them out there because they can really go a long way. And of course, number 1 is to cut down on expenses as much as possible. Eating at home is one of those things that is really going to help keep some more money money in your bank account. So avoid eating out as much as possible. Now, for almost everyone, their largest expense on a monthly basis is where they live, regardless of if they're renting or if they own. So one of the things that you can do, and again, this is going to be different. It's going to depend on if you're single, if you're married, if you have kids or not. But for those of you that don't have children, maybe you want to find some roommates and leverage either your rent or your mortgage payment. Utilize this opportunity in the sharing economy. Maybe you can Airbnb an extra bedroom. Maybe you have an office that you can now rent as a short-term rental or to a long-term tenant, or maybe nurses that are traveling for work. So I wanted to give you a visual of what it looks like to use leverage, to use house hacking, and how you can actually rent out a portion of your home without sacrificing privacy, especially if you have a family like I do.
Meaning kids. Yeah.
When we got this home in 2017, we wanted to find a way to be able to split the home. In California, this is called an accessory dwelling unit. This is when you can take a house and split it into 2 units. This property used to be a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a little over 1,700 square feet, so it's a pretty good size. But I'm gonna show you how we blocked the hallways and how we live mortgage payment free. So there used to be a hallway right here. So the other hallway used to be right here. This is my house. That's my office in the back where I film my videos. Let's go to the other side. Basically what we did is we actually created a little walkway from the front, and they come in through this side. Now this door was not here before. Keyless entry. Open sesame. If you guys want, I can actually make an entire video on how we did this, but I just wanted to give you a short version. Also because videos on YouTube do a lot better when they're over 10 minutes. And this is gonna be like 9.5 minutes. So I needed to film something. I came up with this great idea. So this is actually a short-term rental. It's an Airbnb. This used to be a bedroom that we converted into a kitchen. It's basically 2 queen beds. Very, very basic setup. I showed you that we closed the hallway. If you guys see that little crack right there, this is where it used to be a hallway into the living room on the other side. And then of course, here's the bathroom, which is just a very, very simple, nothing crazy. We have the second bedroom, which looks like this. It's a little bit bigger. This is actually a futon, but it works great. This is where that second opening was. So this is called house hacking. This is called being creative, using your mind to create leverage. So for all of you out there that own a property, you could probably do this with a bedroom. Maybe you have an office that you could rent out to a long-term tenant, and just do whatever you can to keep your costs as low as possible. But for us, this property, this Airbnb sleeps up to 8 people, and it books on average anywhere between $80 to $150 a night. So on average, after paying our cleaning staff and after Airbnb's 3% fee, we make on average about $30 to $100 a month, which is how much my mortgage is. So we live mortgage payment free, which means every year we keep about $40,000 in our bank account to continue to invest and do it again. Maybe an option is to downsize, again, as a way to cut down on expenses. Also, finding new ways to make money. By the way, check out one of my newest videos in the links below where I show you how to make $100 online without spending a dime out of pocket, and you can do this from anywhere in the world. Next is don't put all of your eggs in one basket. I think in times like this, it is very important to hold on to some cash in case the banks are to set some withdrawal limits. Now, generally speaking, there are 2 primary reasons why banks will set withdrawal limits. And those primary reasons are cash availability limits and security concerns. Next, it is important to keep money in the bank so you can continue to make payments online. The next thing that you can do is buy some gold and silver in case cash becomes trash. In case cash becomes trash. like it did in 1923 in Weimar, Germany, and many other countries. So let me elaborate on this topic a little bit. This is what we call hyperinflation, and hyperinflation is when cash becomes trash. The dollar loses so much of its value that it becomes very expensive. It can cost you tens of thousands of dollars to just buy a water bottle. Now, before this epidemic was happening, our inflation rate was at about 4%. That means that every year the dollar was losing its value by about 4%. It means that if you had $10,000 today, in 10 years, you're going to need $20,000 to buy you what $10,000 used to. And that's because the dollar
continues to lose its value.
And right now, as you guys know, due to the stimulus and many other reasons, the Fed has been printing trillions and trillions of dollars, which only devalues the current monetary supply. Now, as you can see in the image next to me, in 1923 in Weimar, Germany, you literally see people just throwing their trash in the streets because it literally became worthless. And again, it was cheaper to burn your money to stay warm than it was to buy wood. Now, that is not guaranteed that it will happen, but it is one of the many possibilities. Other things that you can do to diversify and to not hold all of your money in cash is to buy cryptos and stocks. Again, this is not investing advice. It is very risky to hold anything that I just mentioned, but I am simply sharing some of the things that I'm doing myself. So again,
Not investing advice.
again, if you do follow any of this, don't invest any money that you cannot afford to lose. That is just my rule of thumb. I truly hope that things begin to get better very soon. I always like to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Now, as I mentioned, there are so many different possibilities and we truly don't know exactly what is going to happen. Now, I want to know, what do you think is going to happen in the next few months? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to know what you think is going to happen, so put it in the comments below and I will make sure to respond to every single comment. Again, I want to thank every single one of you for watching this video. Don't forget to smash the like button so that it can help the YouTube algorithm. Smash the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. And last but not least, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram as I post content every single day that I don't post here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. See you next time.